This Jitsi recording seems to be a little spotty. I've had problems previously, but that seemed to go without a hitch.
How much editing did you have to do on the ones you posted?
Less and less, I guess, as time goes on. The first couple, I think people were playing. It's kind of dumb, but anyone can start and stop the recording, and it kicks whoever's recording off of it, right? So I was, getting, whatever 6 files that I had to merge together, which is kind of a little more of a pain with video, right? So I had to re-encode the whole thing. So that took some time. Had to put, some whatever. I wanted to put some fades in so it looked decent. But the last couple, I think, like I'm looking at last week or so 2 weeks ago, and it was a single shot, no interruptions, went right through. So really, all I do is pretty much post it if I don't have to do anything. I mean, I just cut off the beginning and the end to make it a little cleaner, but that's it. So it doesn't really take long. And now I'm kind of getting the hang of things. Like anything else, right? You do it a few times and it gets easier. So anyway, yeah, it's not bad. I've discovered, I've learned a little bit about this software. There's a good, what's it called here? Open Shot Video Editor. Works really well. Open Shot Video Editor. Little freebie that easy to use, drag and drop for anything you want to put in. So it's the first thing I tried, and it works well.
Yeah, the meetings I looked at looked pretty nice.
Yeah. No, I get encodes to a decent file size. Next step is to get it up on a YouTube channel. I never did hear back from our whatever, I don't know, the guy that set up the Homebrew channel in our club. So he seems to be a little bit distracted with something. So anyway, so I'm just going to create our own little channel and put them up there. It's a little easier, but really, I mean, it's on another Google product. So what's the difference, right? The same thing. You can just stream it. You don't have to download it, but you can if you want to. It's just not conveniently in in the YouTube domain, but whatever. Google Drive is, I think, probably using similar back end. So good evening there, Peter.
Is on.
Can you hear me now?
That's the first, yep.
Okay, good. Did somebody say they wanted to speak? Was that you, Ken?
Yes, it was. I figured out what was wrong with my laptop lagging. I can handle.
It was a 286 laptop?
Pardon?
It was a 286 laptop?
No. I can handle up to like 4 video streams at one time, but as soon as I get more than that, then it lags. So, because I'm using the video card that's on the motherboard.
So what are you going to do?
Well, what I can do is I can downgrade the video down to standard definition.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you know what we all look like.
What's that?
You know what we all look like. And besides, Eric and Dave, you don't want to see them in high def anyways.
What do you mean? I'm pretty.
Pretty awful. So I heard you guys had a good time on the weekend?
Yeah, it was. We had a bit of rain, I guess, coming in around 9 o'clock or so, but we were pretty much, starting to pack. Well, at least, my guests were starting to pack things in at that time or well before it. But no, I mean, we were expecting kind of cruddy weather during the afternoon, but that didn't materialize. So it was nice. Good day. Total of 4 of us, I guess, all together throughout the day. But I stayed up until the wee hours of the night, about 2 a.m. or so, before I called it an evening, as I think I posted. And it was a good time.
Well, that's on the agenda for your field day effort. Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, true enough. Yeah.
Hey, Eric, when don't we stay up till the wee hours of the morning on field day?
I guess, yes, indeed. I don't think, probably would have stayed out. Actually, you know what the biggest issue was for me was the mosquitoes. It was a jungle that night, I guess, with all the rain that came down. I don't know, beat them out of the bushes or something. I resorted to putting actually this fan that's behind me here, I had it blowing like directly, like 12 inches from my face or whatever, just to keep the mosquitoes. Even then, like, they were landing on the table in front of me and just like holding on as much as they could, like it was.
Well, it looked like that area you were doing it from, you could easily screen in.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did the next night. Actually, I put up a temporary mosquito, one of those things that hangs over the, drapes over a picnic table. So that worked. But yeah, you're right. That whole area is due for like a slide over mosquito netting kind of thing. So yeah, no, it would be good. But the netting did help that I put up the next night. So.
Well, next year I won't double book myself.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
That was pretty
well,
cool.
Hey, I mean, understand.
I had a great day, but I did miss you guys.
Yeah, you would have had fun, I think. But anyway, what was the cottage?
If you had Dave beside you, there wouldn't be a mosquito problem for you.
That's right.
Speaking
I think they're attracted to sour things, aren't they?
Sorry?
Aren't mosquitoes attracted to sour things?
Yeah. Or one that exhales a lot of carbon dioxide. Does Dave talk a lot? Actually, Dave sent me a message saying he probably couldn't make it tonight. Is that still true, Eric? Do you know?
I haven't heard from him at all, actually. So I was actually having a feeling he probably wouldn't. Probably has family commitments or whatever. So
yeah, the house.
Yep.
The story that never ends.
Yep. Yeah, that could be. I don't know. Although I have a feeling Canada Day, his XYL would probably have designs for him. So.
See, I put my stuff in the calendar in ink. I was told years ago, if it's not in the calendar, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So it's in the calendar.
So how do you explain field day then, buddy?
Well, I didn't put it in the calendar. And then when she said we've been invited to go for a golf game and then go up for their cottage after that for a bonfire and dinner and stuff like that, I said, yeah, sure, I'm okay with that. I didn't realize it was field day. And by the time I did realize it, it was too late.
You should have made it conditional. You should have said everybody in the club is able to come up to do field day up at the cottage.
That'd be a great spot.
Yeah.
They're on a nice point of land that overshoots the lake. The unfortunate thing is it all faces north.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
is it
make a concerted effort to get to Nunavut? work off the territories.
Wouldn't the Great Circle, wouldn't that work to Europe? No?
Listen, I can barely get across. Oh, speaking of which, I did a couple of contacts on Canada Day today.
Oh, nice.
So I got a rack station out in it was either Alberta or Manitoba for the rack station, and then an Ontario station. That's all I did was about 3 or 4 contacts. That was all I had time for.
I think there's a rack contest on Canada Day, isn't there?
That's what I'm talking about. The rack Canada Day today. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know what I'm saying. I just saw. I was playing with logging software on Field Day, and it had a whole bunch of predefined contests. And one of them, I never even knew they had one on Canada Day. But there you go. I guess it's a good time if you want to try and get contacts.
Well, drop that call sign of yours and get it a Canadian one, and then you'll automatically know about these things.
Oh, that was fun, actually. It happened, actually. I'm not sure who was there. I think, Klaus, you were there. Dave was there, but I had one guy who I contacted. All the contacts were in the States, but one of them said, I don't think you can do that. So I got into a bit of a discussion with the guy. So
have an American call and operate out of Canada?
Yeah. He says, well, wait a sec, your section doesn't match your call. You know, what's going on? So I said, well, you know what? I mean, after that, I just said, well, you know what? I'm just visiting. So, but the first one, I just said, yeah, you know what? I'm a Canadian. I live here. I just have my U.S. ticket. I don't have a Canadian one. And he's like, oh, you can't do that. I said, well, actually, according to Industry Canada, when I contacted them, yes, I can. Do you want me to email you the response? So anyway, he's, but yeah, so the ham police, I think Dave's comment was, oh, that guy just wanted to be a shit disturber or whatever. So, yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you want to get started. Oh, wait, we'll wait for, what's that guy's name again? Ken. Get back. I didn't touch base with Kevin today. I'm surprised he's not here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Canada, he may have gone up north. He may have gone up north to North Bay, North Bay area, or Wasaga Beach, one of the two.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, you know, hey, it's pretty good that we got at least half of the normal crew.
I thought we'd see Frank. I didn't hear anything from Frank. Well, Ken's here, so I need Ken to come back because I want to talk to him about the 6900. Anyway. You know you're holding up the show, Ken? Oh, he hasn't got his
There you go.
There, can you hear us now, Ken?
What's that?
You can hear us now? Apparently you can't. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear now.
You're late. Okay. Well, let's get started. If somebody joins in, they join in. That's grand, whatever. Okay, so I was just going to do a quick round table of what's on the bench from everybody. First on my screen there is Eric. Anything working on your bench these days, Eric? You did mention something about you were trying to put your shack together. Did you do anything about that?
Well, the bench actually was actively getting cleared off about an hour ago, and then I stopped for some supper. So I'm working on it, but no. The good news is that part of Field Day was getting equipment dug out and the dust blown off of it. So I guess I can go over some of that in my little Field Day talk. But I mean, unless you count soldering power pole connectors onto wires as it's not really home brewing, I guess. But hey, at least
from your perspective, it probably is.
That's right. So burning my fingertips and all that. So no, it's still a bit of a work in progress, but there is progress, which I guess is the main thing. So yeah, no, not much to report from that end. Just happy to, like I said, be getting back in the game.
That's good. Well, one of these days we'll get up to your so-called shack and have a look.
Yep.
Good evening. How are you tonight? Oh, Dwayne, can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, anything on your bench these days, Dwayne?
Haven't been doing too much. Still working on the digital dial. Decided I'm going to put it on a old Bidex 40 that I had. So I had to go and design and print a new case for it that's a little bit taller to make room for the dial, the display, and some of the other stuff. A couple things I've been thinking about. I don't know if anybody saw the link to the video that I posted the other day and about the little tiny SA. That looks like it's going to be a wonderful little instrument when it finally comes out. It looks like you're getting close to doing a pilot production run on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did have a little read of that and been watching them a little bit off and on. I forget the IO group that's doing that. Is it the one with Test Equipment Group, or is it one of the other ones?
They've got a new one now. It's just Tiny SA.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. But since it'd be interesting to see how that comes out there, because the home brewing, one of them things, have been up on my alley for a long, long time. Although it's kind of gone down the list now that I went out and bought a spectrum analyzer there a couple of years ago. But Ken, you like to say something?
Yeah, is that the one by Eric? I think his name is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think the BEDX group about a year ago made up a bunch of smaller groups, like one for antennas, and they did another one, Homebrew Test Equipment. I think that's where Eric was originally posting his stuff. Then I guess they went and made another group for the Tiny SA. Yeah, I saw the video. That's pretty interesting stuff. He's been working on it quite a while.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, it seems like you're busy there, Dwayne. That's good. Klaus, good evening.
How are you, gentlemen?
Very good. So how's your shot coming along?
Well, I'm working on things. I've got a couple of QRP kits on the go, and talking to the Toroid King on Saturday. Apparently my toroids aren't wound all that well. So I have to redo them, take them off the boards and redo them. I'm waiting for Richard to make up his mind on that tower, because I'd like to get that up. The season is rapidly ending fairly soon, so I might have to buy one anyway. And that's all I'm doing. So I'm just trying to work on the Nano VA. I think I'm getting a little bit of an insight into that little unit. You're actually, what it actually does is the response to a stimulus, and you adjust the response to that stimulus to try and get what you're getting. So I did my VHF UHF antenna, and I was pleasantly surprised by the results. I haven't got anywhere in HF yet because I really don't have an HF antenna. That's next in the line.
Yeah, Al W2 EAW. He's posted in the last last week. He's posted another 2 videos on the VNA. So if you haven't seen those ones yet, go back over there and have a look. He's got 2 new ones, so that's good. Okay, a couple. Eric, you wanted to say something? You're up first.
Sorry. Actually, it was in response to Dwayne. I just, I guess Ken asked or stated what I was going to say. Is it that same? Because I was searching for the any information online about that SA from that Chinese guy Eric, but I couldn't find anything. So I just wanted to say thank you for posting that. At least there's a bit of a lead. I guess there maybe wasn't a whole lot of information until just recently. So anyway, just appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Ken?
Hey, close. Hasn't Richard decided on that tower yet?
Well, apparently they need another mast before they can give that up, and no, he hasn't got back to me since April when he said I could have it as soon as I get a tower. So I might have to push him and see what's going on. I think there's a little bit of reluctance there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I can get it, great. If I can't, I'll have to buy one. But I'll ask him again.
Yeah, ask him again, because he offered to me a year ago this past winter, and I said I would take it, and then we just forgot about it, or I didn't have any way of getting it home. So there's something else going on. I think one of the other guys wants it.
Yeah, I don't need to get involved in politics.
Yeah, the old boys club.
Yeah.
Now I know which Richard you're talking about. Okay, well, Torix, Klaus, when you were referring to the Torite King, I think you were referring to Dave. I hope not, though.
Yeah, he's going to be quite an expert. The amount of times he had to rewind on Saturday.
Yeah, no, don't pay attention to him. because he looks at it as a negative. Years ago, I thought I did a project that involved a lot of toroids, an antenna tuner, and it was and also a bandpass filter, multiple bandpass filters, and some of those. Well, as much copper winding as you can put in it, that's what you put in it. It was really tough. Anyway, I came up with the attitude. I started to call it my toroid therapy, and once I looked at it that way, things are fine. So don't pay attention to Dave. Okay.
Well, he seems to think that they have to be, and he's probably right because I don't know anything about toroids, but he seems to think that they have to be really wound tight inside the toroid. If there's a little bit of sloppiness, it's not going to work.
Here's what I suggest: wind one loosely and wind one really tight. Take time how long it takes you to do it, and then make a measurement with an LC meter. And I'll bet you any money it's not that much different. Now the tightness comes from everybody. I mean, I try to get it as tight as I can too, but I don't lose any sleep over it because I guess the theory is, the closer to the core it is, the mutual coupling between the two is a little bit tighter, I guess. But I think in the scheme of things, I don't think it's going to make a huge amount. Now, I could be proved wrong. It might be an interesting exercise to try, is to wind two coils like that and then see what the difference is.
Well, I've got an antenna tuner that I've got from PPR guys, and that's got I think 4 toroids on it. But I screwed up a capacitor, so I'm trying to get another capacitor, and then I'll change the capacitor, and then I'll test that board and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then it could be the toroids.
Okay, good. Ken, you had a question?
Yeah. When I wind the toroids, what I try and do is use a slightly larger gauge so that when you wind it, they can't move around. So if it calls for, say for example, calls for an 18, I might go to a 16, as long as it doesn't fill more than 3/4 of the toroid. Mm. Now, whether you use an 18 or 16, it doesn't matter. It's still going to give you the same inductance. You can change the inductance with the number of windings you have on it by spreading the turns out or pushing them closer together. So that's basically how you can tune a toroid. So if you're looking for 10 microhenries and all you're getting is 10.6 on your LC meter, just squeeze the windings together slightly and it'll move up to 10 or even more.
It'd still be an interesting test to do, though. It's always been in the back of my mind, but it's way down on the list to try those experiments. But maybe one day.
What capacitor were you looking for, Klaus?
It's a variable. It's called an adjustable varicon.
Oh, he's locked up.
But there's nothing on the part. So I emailed the QPR guy a couple of weeks ago, but I've heard nothing back. So I'll try it again. If not, they'll maybe one of you guys can tell me where I can get one.
Yeah. Post the information on the group. I may even have one. Who knows? Yeah, the QRP guys might be shut down with this COVID thing.
Well, I think they opened up again.
Oh, okay.
Just recently. But anyway. Okay, thanks, Klaus. Brian, good evening.
Hi. Nothing really going on here. It's too hot in the basement to really work at the bench. So I've just been laying low and staying in the shade outside where there's a breeze. So hopefully in a couple of weeks, we're going to get back into it again.
Well, sitting outside with a nice cool beer there and with a piece of paper and a pencil and jotting down all these great ideas that you're going to do when you get back into the shack is not a bad time spent.
Yeah, we got some stuff online coming up. It's just I often find in the summer things get quieter and there's so much more interesting things to do, even if it's hot. So we're,
all right.
Ham radio is a winter activity. That's the best thing about it.
Oh, no, I can't think of it that way. But I hear you. Okay, Brian, thanks. Ken, you got anything on the bench?
Nah, the stuff I was working on before it's still sitting in the same place.
Okay, well, hopefully you've progressed a little bit on the 6900 because I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit later on after we finish this little bit here. I'll get right into my
I was intending to make a video on using the SIGGEN with the DCR so that the other people can see it in action. So that'll be the DCR, what we plan to do is have some kind of oscillator, self-contained oscillator, but you can also plug in your SIGGEN as well.
That was one of the first things I did with the DCR board. I plugged in the SIGGEN into it, and it worked great. Well, I first tried that reverse bias diode thing, and that sort of worked, but didn't. But the SIGGEN, it worked really, really well. So, okay.
I'm gonna probably this weekend I'll make a little video so that everybody can see it and see what's going on.
Okay, great. Well, okay, that leads me into the 6900 with the SIGGEN, not with the SIGGEN, with the direct conversion receiver project. I guess Ken got the idea of trying the LTC 6900 chip, general purpose low power oscillator. And because just a quick review, was giving us a bunch of these chips from an LT rep, and I guess several years later we found a use for it, or at least we think we did. Anyway, I took on to try and dig into this chip a little bit a couple weeks ago, and I started doing the test. So I threw together quickly a PowerPoint present with a few slides. So I'll just nip through them, show you guys the results I found. And what I think went wrong, I guess is a good way to put it. And what else was I going to say? Oh, and I did a couple of slides. I also did a quick comparison with the SI 5351 board, and I just kind of didn't have time to really get into the 9850. So let me just quickly get things set here. And okay. You guys can see that?
Yep, looks good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So on that little board there actually is a demo circuit board that's available from, well, you can get it from DigiKey. Anyway, of course, it's not the price point you want to do. I think it's like $50 US. Okay. So here was I first started off with an LT Spice simulation. I didn't have much time to really play around a whole lot with it, other than I thought, oh, this is going to be a problem, this chip, I think. So I took, this is what Frank had sent me, a schematic of what he had done for a setup with some changes. And the changes is where I have R1. And R1 really is, in fact, a 22K resistor in series with a 10K pot for a bit of a coarse tune. And then I think Frank originally was suggesting, or did try, I can't remember which, 100 ohm pot. Well, I tried that, and that really was not, well, it didn't do anything. Long story short, I ended up putting a 2K multi-turn trim pot in series with that as well. And that allowed me to do some control. So this here is the spectrum analyzer I put on the signal of that 6900. The span here is 6 to 22 megahertz. And so you can see the two harmonics, and you can see the spurs on either side of the fundamental, and of course the two harmonics, and a couple of little other things in between, namely there's one. I think there's another little one over here and here. And then there's the amplitude there of those three. So that's what the 6900 looked like. And that's the test circuit that I just showed with the Spice circuit. Just as a comparison to the SI 5351, that's what that one looks like. And the spectrum analyzer has the same settings as I had for the 6900, and except for the span's a little bit further on this one. Much cleaner. I took a look at the signal itself and with the scope, and on the left is the 6900, 5351 on the other. Again, same settings. And I can never make up my mind on this one, which one is the better one, the one on the left or the one on the right. The one on the left looks a little bit more quicker rise time, or a little bit more linear in a way, but maybe a little bit more ringing. Anyway, that's what the two different ones look like at 7 megahertz. Here's where it got interesting. The SI 5351 that you see on the right, you put it on the screen, on the spectrum analyzer, that's what you get. That's where it stays forever. never moves. On the 6900, however, that's a whole different story. You can see, well, first off, look at the difference in the width of the signal. And you can see I have 2 points here, two markers, 1R and 1. That's the range that signal drifted. So this signal here, that would be the center. So this would still come down a little bit further, and then it would wander up and down, up and down, up and down like this, and then come up to about here, and then it would go back down like that. It would just keep that, and it would keep that going on the whole time. And that frequency drift is well, 4.120 kilohertz. That's that right there. And you don't have to wait for it. It just sits there and just wanders away. So that span takes only a couple minutes. And that's just a little bit closer in of that signal of the SI5351, just showing how clean that one is in comparison anyway. So the results, based on the test setup, I got a minimum of 5.8 megahertz up to a max of 9.1 for a span of 3.26 megahertz roughly. And I had that wandering going on around 4.1. I guess I'd call it jitter there, but I don't think that's really a correct term.
Peter, I was going to ask you jitter. What is that exactly? Like, what are you showing there?
I think the more I thought about it, I think I'm using the incorrect term. The jitter is probably the way to think that. I think how do I describe it? I think the jitter is the way it's kind of vibrates, for lack of a better word, going on. And really what I captured there was the drift. Now, maybe the jitter has more to do with the width of that signal, the way it was looking. I'm going to have to read up a little bit more on it and do some more things, and I'll come back to that in a minute here. I found that a 0.03 volts DC resulted in a frequency change from 7 megahertz up to 7.3. So you don't have to. I didn't have to change that voltage going in there a whole heck of a lot to make a huge difference on the frequency. When I connected the 6900 circuit to the DCR, the frequency skyrocketed up to 22 megahertz. I had a toroid. Like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of time here, so I just grabbed the toroid that I already had wound. I don't even remember the number of turns on it. Didn't even make any attempt at doing anything. I just thought, you know what, it's there. Let's throw it in and just see what happens. And it did make some improvement, into the point where I did hear a signal. I really wasn't able to tune them in. That was a sideband one, and then I heard a CW signal that I could. Well, if I took the time, I could have probably copied it, but it was really mushy. It was not very clear at all. I tried a Schmidt trigger chip to interface between it, and that's when things went really haywire. I can't think of how long it takes. I think about every 10, 15 seconds, maybe at most, everything would just quit. I would have to power down the 6900, power back up to get it to oscillate again. There was just no control. The frequencies were just gone everywhere. Which actually brings up now one of the local guys here. I was talking to him about it, the 6900. I haven't had time to dig into it, but he had a suggestion for trying to bring the chip under control, and I just didn't have time to really put it together so we could talk about it tonight. But I probably will do something down the road with it. But for the test setup, and this what's got me kind of thinking about things, and I think the test setup may have contributed some of the problems I've seen. And in the picture, you can kind of see where, well, maybe that's what's going on. There's the direct conversion receiver board. Try to eliminate some of the fading or the drifting of the frequency when my hand got close to the circuit. So I mounted. There's the pot there with the 2K trim pot here. I mounted them on a piece of board and to see if that would help. It kind of did a little bit, but there was still some capacitive effect from the hands. There's the module I made up for the 6900 chip. That's the Schmidt trigger there, and just a power supply. So anyway, that's the setup I did, and I got to thinking about it. So I took a look on the Analog Devices website just to see, because I know sometimes they have demo boards and stuff. And that's what I found there. And that kind of got me to thinking. I'm just wondering if, and I did think about it early on about etching my own board to mount all this stuff right directly on a board, test points and everything like that to try to eliminate, extra long leads and all those kinds of things. And I'm wondering how much difference it would have made in the results that I found. I have a funny feeling that I will see some differences. Whether or not it'd be enough differences that you can use this chip in the VFO circuit for the DCR, I doubt it. But one never knows, I suppose. But I don't think so. Dave here in Kingston had an idea that I can try about making some changes that might kind of tame this circuit a little bit, and that may be true. But I still don't think it's going to end up being suitable for the DCR. Anyway, that's all I've got for this. I thought it seemed to be missing a slide here, but anyway, no worries. And there we go. So Ken, I see you like to speak, and I don't know if you've got any further progress on the 6900, because one of the nice things would have been is if you were able to, or Frank were able to go further with the testing to confirm or what I saw, or not confirm, or say, no, something's wrong with my test setup.
Maybe a little explanation. That chip is a digital oscillator, and its intended use is to be used as a time base for, say, a network switch or a computer chip. The jitter. When it comes to computers, the jitter is not that important because it's not moving that much. Some of the other articles I've read on this chip, and there's not really much out there in the way of applications. I found one. What they did recommend is all of the leads have to be as short as possible. The RSET resistor has to be right at the chip. What else was there? The output can only handle up to 5K ohms and 15 picofarads, which I found out too because when I hooked it up to the DCR to see if it would work at all, I had forgotten to take that capacitor off between pin 5 and 6 or 6 and 7, whatever, and it loaded it down so it wouldn't oscillate. As soon as I took it off, it was oscillating. The evaluation board, I believe, is $50.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Much cheaper than your own.
Yeah. Now, the good thing about this evaluation board, it was recommended by one of the guys at LTC to use SMD parts because you're eliminating stray capacitance and stray inductances. So what they did is they use SMD and they make the trace as short as possible.
So, I mean, I was on the right track. Like I say, when I first started this, I mean, of course, it would have added a few hours to do this. Probably knowing me, would have taken the better part of the day. But I wanted to get something done fairly quickly. But of course, that can lead you down the garden path, can't it?
Yeah. One of the other things too is the SA612 chip. I have unable to find out what that pin 5 input impedance is anywhere. And
one of the documents shows, I think, 1.5K for the other pin, and I think can't think of the pin number, but I know the one you're talking about. And I hunted high and low. You're talking about the input for the oscillator, right?
Yeah, pin 1s and 2 is 1.5K each.
Yeah, I never found anything anywhere that would even come around to suggesting what the input impedance is of that pin.
Yeah. And even having that capacitor between 5 and 6, it was 10 picofarads, and that's getting too close to the max that chip can handle, and it did affect it quite badly. But what I got to try to do is try and figure a way of making the circuit as compact as possible, no long leads, and I got to get the output right close to the SA612.
Can you etch your own board?
I've done a couple, but they didn't turn out very well.
Get Frank to etch you a board.
What's that?
Get Frank to etch you a board.
Yeah, it's possible.
I think it's going to be the only way. Am I going to etch a board? Nah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't quite made up my mind, although I'd like to come to the conclusion of this and do it due diligence and get it done right and just see what it does. Having said all that, and I think you were talking to one of the LT guys. From his response, it looks like it may not work anyways, no matter what we do. But having said that, wasn't it the IRF 510 chip was designed for a blinkers in a car, and then Hams turned it into an RF amplifier?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah. The only reason I actually chose that chip is because I had the sample card, and to actually buy it from DigiKey, it's like $2.
Yeah.
And a few components. Whereas if we use analog VFO, we got the toroids, we got the capacitors, we got the resistors, and those parts will add up quite quickly. That'll be a lot more than buying the chip and a couple of resistors and capacitors.
Yeah. Well, the only other thing you can say about it is the fact that the SIGGEN coupled up to it works.
Yeah.
And there was how many guys built the SIGGEN? 30 of us?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Maybe a little, I can't remember now. But
yeah, I actually, I have a list somewhere, but I also made a list of leftover parts after the buildathon, and I wanted to see how many boards were left, but I can't find that document.
Count the boards. Maybe Frank has them.
No, he's got them, but I can't remember how many were left over. I don't know if there was a couple or there was quite a few or not.
A couple, but you never know.
Yeah, but for those who don't have the PARC SIGGEN, even if we do have the boards, it took me a long time to source the parts. The displays were hard to get. I had to wait like over a month to get them, and there was some really oddball capacitor sizes, resistors.
Don't go that route. Just use something with the SI53 board, something down and dirty and cheap.
Yeah, well, you know what? Scrap the analog VFO and just use a SIGGEN altogether, period.
And that's probably what's going to end up happening. But by the same token, I'm curious enough about the chip that maybe it might be worthwhile just taking the next step, if for no other reason, just because.
Yeah. But there's got to be some other RF oscillator chips out there somewhere. Has to be.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I just got to take the time and do some Googling around and see what there is. I want something cheap and easy to use. I don't want to make this this project expensive. We've had a couple expensive ones already. The SA and the SIGGEN, they were reasonably expensive for buildathon kits.
Well, the SA was.
Yeah.
Or the SNA, I should say.
Yeah.
But then again, and then of course, look what technology did, and the VNA came on shortly after that. But okay,
yeah,
that's great. Okay, what else we got here? Any other questions? Comments? Okay, Eric, up to you then. So 4 home brewers got together and had a field day.
Yeah, we had a day, all right. So there were 4 of us all together. As I said earlier, I know I did a little bit of a recap on the Homebrew group, so some of you have already got that, and I know Klaus was obviously there, I guess, so just 2 of the 6 of us that were actually present. So I'm going to share my screen here. Give me a sec to pull that up.
So you said you guys made a day of it. So if I drove all the way down there, you guys would have abandoned ship once it got dark?
Yeah, well, Klaus's time was a little bit limited, and Hassan came, I guess, a little later in the day, and he stayed around for probably about 5 or 6 hours, something like that. Dave was the trooper, didn't quite make it out at 11 a.m. or no, 10 a.m. That's when he said he was going to be. He was making the cracks at me for, not starting until noon. But yeah, he showed up sometime around 11, I guess, something like that. And he stayed till around 9. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was the picture I posted of Hassan getting lectured by His Majesty himself.
Toroid King.
Yeah, Hassan is the Toroid Tiger King. Hassan brought his Drake equipment up to give it a try, and Klaus brought a couple of radios as well, a Drake unit that he can maybe talk to his equipment since he's here. But Hassan was, as I think maybe some of the postings, or not the postings, but our emails, I guess, back and forth. So the whole group wouldn't have seen it, but he had no problem on receive. Actually, really nice receive. It was really good audio coming in through the tubes on that rig, but he had trouble on transmit. I think it might have just been microphone issues, Vox setting, or what have you. He didn't really, know too much about operation with that. He just wanted to put it on the air, and so I think he got something out of it. So that was kind of nice, but. Yeah, so field day, I'd say was for what it was, for what we did, a success. I don't have, really a good picture of my operating position there, but there you can see the various things that I had up. I guess you see a bunch of HTs that I was mentioning that I had sort of lined up charging and doing a little bit of testing on. Had a, what else do I see there? I see a Wushang mobile array 50-watt unit there that I used to have in my car. It hasn't been in there for a few years now. One of the VFOs died on it, or at least the display died. I can't even switch to it anymore. So VHF ICOM unit here that I used to actually contact, who was it? It's a local club in the morning, I guess, prior to the commencement of field day. That was, it was on the tower. That's who it was. It was VE3TWR. They were having a net around 10 or 11 in the morning or whatever. So my J pole that was hanging up, can't even see it. I don't know. It's somewhere there. Made contact. He said it was really a good signal. So you can see the bottom of the push-up mast that I had there. It was up about maybe 30 feet or so at the peak. And there was a end-fed, quad-band end-fed that was sitting maybe about, the end of it was about 20 feet up in the air, sloping down to the grass. And that was what we used to get out on the HF bands. There's my trusty old ex-Edmundo Kenwood 440S that I used for the majority of the contacts that I made. And there was a Flex 3000 that unfortunately never got on the air because the computer that I have to operate, that need to operate with that has the only FireWire port on it, is out of service at the moment. So anyway, that's another project that I'm working on. So there you go. But yeah, this field day actually was kind of nice. First one I've been at that you could actually drink beer at, which was a pleasant addition. So once again, thank you for providing the beverages, the refreshments, Klaus. This was.
Well, let's hold you right there. You never heard of sneaking it?
Okay, officially we were able to. Look at that. There's even photographic evidence. I didn't realize that. But yeah, quality beer, and you don't have to hide it, But yes, I know. I'm slowly learning the ways. So this is Dave. Dave spent 3 hours ending up in futility trying to assemble a. I guess he was trying to make it a homebrew field day. You know him, right? He is. I don't know. Whatever.
He spent 3 hours trying to get that QRP guy's end-fed antenna match thing there, and he couldn't do it.
There's the board that he was working on, winding toroids and soldering, desoldering, whatever. So like I said, he spent about 3 hours of it instead of operating. I think he just tries to use any excuse to get out of operating, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen him pick up a mic in the last 5 years. But anyway, so he puttered away at that for a while, and then put it away, and then just started criticizing. Constructively commenting on everything that was going on. So yeah, that's kind of the only 2 pictures I have to show from that. But so yeah, it was a success. As I posted there, I made a whopping 10 contacts. What was interesting is one of them, and I don't know if anyone here can shed the light on this or not, but so towards the end, actually, I guess once everybody had left, or at least had dispersed a little bit, I put my FT817, which actually I guess was in that picture somewhere there, the 5-watt QRP rig on the air, or just plugged it in. There's no tuner on it. Like the Kenwood has a tuner built into it, and I have a tuner somewhere, but couldn't locate it. So anyway, I just went untuned on the end fed antenna, and there was a pileup. I went on. It was 20 meters, and I just kind of got in the fray there. And the guy who's calling CQ came back and said, "No, everybody be quiet. I want to talk to the guy who's QRP." Like, how did he know that? I mean, obviously, a weaker signal, but really, like, how did he know I was QRP and not just far away, or shitty equipment or whatever, or maybe just QRP meant a small. I don't know. It just seemed almost kind of weird that the very first call out I made, the guy it immediately identified that I was QRP instead of the 100 watts. Just seemed kind of strange. So
Maybe he probably just made assumptions.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it just seemed kind of weird. This guy from Maryland, I think, but all the contacts that I made were basically in the States. Nevada, I think, was as far as I got according to my list here. So,
how late? When was that? Late at night?
The Nevada one was not too late. It was 10 o'clock UTC, I guess. So
the reason I bring it up, Eric, because maybe he'd already worked a ton of stations, getting late in the day, and he's worked a lot of stations, and all of a sudden he hears somebody weak, and he knows he hasn't worked any weak guys yet, so he's he tells everybody to shut up because he's worked half of them, maybe.
Well, actually, the guy that was Sunday. The guy that said the QRP, and that was after the not the official close time, but if you were just doing the 24-hour period from 2 p.m. to 2 p.m., it was like 2:30, I think, local time that I made that contact. So yeah, you're right. Maybe he was getting a lot of dupes or whatever, and saw someone who maybe the call he didn't recognize right off the bat. But anyway, I just thought it was kind of spooky. So the other thing is I'd never put my Kenwood on 15 meters before, and the NFED is rated for it, right? It's tuned, has tuning stubs for 10, 15, 20. It's cut for 40 nominally. But anyway, so I put it on 15, and I was getting really weird feedback on my mic. Again, I don't know if anyone could comment on that as to why that would happen, but I'd never heard anything like it before on any band or any other radio for that matter. But I could it was coming back in the headphones, when I was talking, when I was transmitting. So only on transmit. Yeah. And I asked the other party what my, for a radar report, and he said it was, coming in clean. He said no issues, perfectly readable. And yet, every time I keyed down, I was getting kind of distracting feedback, almost static, So I'm just wondering what was, if any idea about what was going on.
Looks like whatever was happening, Eric, was happening locally because nobody was complaining about the signal. So I guess there was something going on with. Were you using headphones?
Yeah, headphones, and like I said, I was doing that with all the other.
Who knows what? Ken, you're dying to say something here. I can tell.
You got to put a current balance on your coax. That's a RF current coming back into your radio.
Ah, okay, yeah, I never thought of that stuff coming back. So a choke basically on the coax.
Yeah. You can make your own very easily. I forget what I think it's a 4-inch diameter, and I think it's like 10 turns of coax.
Oh, the toroid can handle that size, I bet.
What's that?
The toroid Jungle King can probably handle that size.
Yeah. Were you? Did they change the rule this year that you can operate any power level you wanted to?
Yeah, there was no restriction. I mean, I think 1D and 1E were the ones that PARC. Obviously, well, I guess everybody, right, that wasn't operating as a club, right, because everything else is multi-op, so, or not multi-op, but like whatever, 3 or more, 4 or more kind of thing. So, but yeah, there was no restriction as far as power levels. That was all wide open. Do you mean anything specifically, or?
Well, normally QRP is a different class.
Well, you still had the 5-point multiplier, 5 times multiplier for QRP. That still existed 2 times for 150 watts or less. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So did you log that QRP contact?
I did. Yeah. I logged everything.
So you got the multiplier and everything. Okay.
But unfortunately, no. A close reading of the rule says you only get the multiplier if all of your contacts for the entire day are QRP. So if you make
you're either a QRP station or you're not. You can't be both.
Yeah. So I mean, I wasn't going for high points anyway, obviously. But anyway, I actually logged that one QRP contact with the QRP ARCI. They had a page for any contacts you made QRP. So since I'm a nominal member of that group, my one lonely contact on 20 meters with the guy from Maryland is now forever etched into the Hall of Fame. The only Canadian station though. So anyway, yeah. So all good. But no, okay, that's good. I mean, the RF, I'm going to experiment with that and see what happens. I mean, I can kind of make a choke by just coiling the coax a few times, right? Am I mistaken in that, or?
Yeah, so something like 10 turns.
So 10 turns of the coax, the slack and the coax, basically.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Just make it about a 4-inch diameter, somewhere around there.
Right. Zip tie it, and then I'll see if that disappears. Interesting.
Yeah. That's current coming back on the coax shield.
Okay.
So maybe Brian, you like to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, particularly since I saw that you had the Flex 3000 there. When I had the Flex 3000, I had a lot of problems with feedback on 160, which didn't surprise me since my 160 antenna is not worthy of the name. But nonetheless, I found that putting a common mode transformer on the coax, which I got from Maple Leaf Communications, just because it, did the job. That solved the problem by and large. So I was just getting. This was something with microphone. This was basically interfering with the keyer, which was internal on the 3000. So it can manifest itself in many different ways.
Okay. So then, Eric, I think maybe what you can do then is experiment over the last little while with your chokes and whatnot, and then maybe later in the summer, if things with this COVID crap settles down a bit, maybe you can hold maybe the second annual Rat Hole Convention North in your place, and we can get together and do another run.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I think Klaus wanted to maybe expand on his experimentation. We tried to get, well, I mean, I don't know, if Klaus, if you want to talk about it, perhaps yourself, but we tried to get, he has a very similar TS450, I believe, but we couldn't get it up and running. But like I said, things really didn't start rocking and rolling until around the time he had to leave, that we got on the air and were making good contacts. So
It's interesting because you had a 440, so Klaus has a 450, and I got a 430 here as well as my KX3. But it'll be good if something can get together later in the summer and do some more of experiment out there, because I like the idea of what you did, and I definitely won't double book. But I think I might come down and bring a tent though, Eric.
Absolutely, I got lots of space. There's room in the coop. There's room in the horse run-in. Whatever you like, the doghouse. It's up to you. I don't know if there's another. There probably are other contests coming up, but that seems like a good time to schedule something like that. So I guess maybe the rack page might have a list of upcoming contests over the next couple months to maximize the chance of getting people in the air. So
okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
There was one today, Canada Day.
Yeah, just ended at 8 o'clock. I noticed. So our time. So
yeah.
Can I just one more thing that I think people might be interested in here, not field day topic related. So,
well, I guess you could say it, and then we'll let you know if we are interested or not.
Yeah. I don't know who's caught wind of this, but Eric Guth from QSO Today is having a ham expo, basically, I guess, kind of Dayton replacement coming up in about a month. So he's basically lined up several, I think, concurrent tracks of speakers. I actually browsed the list earlier today, and there's a few people that probably stick out. Eric Nichols, George Zarafopoulos, if you are a listener to Ham Radio Workbench, Glenn Popiel, Hans Summers is going to be talking, Ward Silver from ARRL. So yeah, there's at least about.
What date was that?
I've got it on you can see it on the screen there, right? I think.
Well, I can see your screen, but not that you want to show us.
What?
I'm tired of Dave's Hawaiian shirt there, so switch the screen to something else.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Sharing a tab.
Well, that isn't much better.
Give me a sec, sir. Now I got to clear all these Chrome tab. There we go.
Dave's shirt is the one that scares mosquitoes away.
Oh,
Dave's shirt. Yep. Sorry, I thought I had this up while I was talking, but there you go. So that's it.
8, 9.
So yeah, I don't know. This might already be a thing that people know about, but maybe not everybody. So there you go.
Oh, thanks for bringing that up. I was not aware. I mean, I'm aware of QSO Today, but to be honest, I've probably only listened to the odd one here or there in few.
Yeah, the same. Yeah, I'm the same. I don't know. I tried listening to him a couple years ago, and I found his interviewing style a little hard to listen to. Not his guests, but Eric himself. Whatever. But anyway, so yeah, it's a second weekend in August, Saturday, Sunday. So
well, got up. Thanks for bringing that up. While we're on that sort of thing, your good friend down in Maine, is he still doing his lobster con, or has he canceled that?
Lobster con is still on. Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, that's still a thing.
Although I know you won't be going.
I won't be going. That's for sure. Yeah. Now it's coming up. This is it? I guess next week. Going to be the Friday, Saturday, 10th, 11th, 12th, or whatever. So yeah, he's still doing that, and I think he is still planning on doing the buildathon as well, the online buildathon with his Acorn receiver, or Acorn transmitter. Sorry. So that project is, I think, nearing fruition. He's sends an update once a month or so, every 3 or 4 weeks. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, and just to note, talking about the field day, I know I didn't participate locally here in Kingston as either with field day, but one of the things they did do was they used the I forget the guy's call sign. You know, the networking software and
N1MM.
No, N3J.
Oh, the other one.
Yeah. Anyway, they used that here, but one of the other things they did, one of the local guys here, the webmaster, set up the Kingston's website to gather all that information. So when you're at all these different locations, you could see almost in real time how everybody else was doing, which was kind of cool. But I'm not too sure what Peel has done, but I haven't seen anything from them. Okay, what else we've got going on here? I think that's
they did post our results already.
Oh, did they? I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, they posted results. It was probably a quarter of what we usually do, but
no,
seeing the conditions.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I think that's all I have on my list for tonight. If anybody else has any questions, comments, now's the time.
I was hoping Marty would show up so we can congratulate him.
Yeah, Marty, one of our homebrewer longtime members here, became a Centurion on the Straight Key Century Club. Is that what it stands for? The SKCC? Anyways, he's now a Centurion CX1 level, whatever exactly that is. But without Marty being here, I guess we can't get the full story. But kudos to him. Which kind of reminds me, I really need to brush up. Well, I need to brush up on a lot of operating stuff, but CW, I should probably start doing something there.
I was hoping that he was going to start. I was hoping he was going to offer, classes or something, or practice sessions. Maybe we should start poking him at the next meeting for that.
And you know what? You know what a good band for that would be? Like 60 meters. Do some practice on 60 meters, some CW.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm kind of serious about that, because I think there's a lot of people that would like to brush up or learn or whatever. So
well, I'm suggesting 60 meters because it's likely the one that's going to get to me here in Kingston.
Right, now we have to all go build 60-meter dipoles.
Just use an off-center fed dipole and throw it out the back there. Anyway.
Well, Marty did all that slow speed CW too. So he hasn't been doing it that long. So I thought to get the 100 contacts in was pretty good. Showed perseverance, even though he said the pandemic helped a lot. But still, doing it at slow speed means that those guys are cooperating. So it's not hard to get on there and get some contacts and have guys talk to you.
Do you belong to that group as well, Brian?
Yeah, I do. I'm up to Tribune number ×3. So I've done the 100 and then I've done it 50 times already. So I'm on my fourth 50 now.
Wow. Nice. Okay. Any other comments? Klaus, I was going to ask you, how's your build coming with the QCX? Have you got it on the air?
Sorry, too many buttons here, too many mouses. No, that's the one with the apparently allegedly badly found toroids, and I need that capacitor, which I'm waiting to get. So,
okay.
Stuck on hold.
But for some reason, I thought that was a different project. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, hey Klaus, Klaus, post the information on the group. I'll see what I have here.
Yeah, I don't have any information.
You don't know what
There's
value
no
it is?
specs on. I haven't got a clue.
Send me a link to the website where the kit came from.
Yeah, I looked at the website. I looked at the schematic. I looked at the parts list. I looked at the part. There's nothing indicated anywhere.
Oh no, yes, it's the phaser, right? It's the phaser 7. Is it the phaser? Which one did you build? The 40 meter?
17 meter.
17 meter phaser. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's on Midnight Designs, Ken.
Oh, okay.
Solutions.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Okay.
No. Sorry, that's the PRP. Sorry. This is their antenna tuner. Here, I can send you a picture if you like, just to see what it looks like. But it's got no values on it anywhere.
Polyvericon, isn't it? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you know what that is, Ken?
You're muted.
Sorry, that's that very simple polyvericon, I think, is what he needs. It's just that little plastic thing, similar to like transistor radio tuners.
Yeah.
I had to cut spots in it, and then I didn't cut them far enough. And when I tried to get the lead on, it sort of like snapped off because they're like paper thin. So.
Okay. Okay. Your phaser. So it's the antenna tuner that you've got the problem with. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
well,
know.
the phaser's got bad toroids on it.
Okay, I got 3 or 4 of the Vericons here, so I don't know what value they are.
So what's bad with the toroid?
Apparently, Dave figures that they're wound too loose on the inside.
So they're moving around.
Well, I don't think they are, but he says they're too loose.
I don't believe Dave either. But rewind them to satisfy him, then he'll be happy.
But I like to test the unit first before I do that.
Yeah. Do you have an LC?
I'm trying to. I don't even know what that is.
Did you build the semiconductor checker that we had as a buildathon a couple years ago?
No,
No. Okay.
I've got a digital voltmeter.
No, that won't do the job. No, I was gonna say check the inductance
Anyway.
of the core. But if you've already got it installed, well, try it and test it and see what happens.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
If not, then bring it out to Eric's next convention.
Yeah,
So,
there'd be lots of LC meters around.
Well, you
They
know,
make
Hassan's got speaking of which, Hassan's got this new toy, and he's already doing some big testing, eh?
His Nano VNA?
No, the scope.
Hassan.
Did you not bring his scope up? That new scope he bought?
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, of course he did. Yeah. The Instack scope. Right. Yeah, I was distracted.
Buying a brand new Sigma, he went out and bought that used highfalutin. I forget which brand it was now.
Yeah, Instek or Instek, INSTEK, I think. So, but yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, we were playing around with that. We were using the probe leads as antennas while I was transmitting, watching the spikes.
Oh, nice. Brian, got a comment?
Yeah, I was going to say to Klaus, if you have a digital camera, can you shoot a few photographs of those toroids, and might be able to get some advice as to what the status is? Because I think I would go. I mean, yeah, as Ken said, they can be a little bit loose, but they can't be too loose. So, like, I always built them, pulled them tight, and then pressed them down on the outer edge with my thumbnail, or a piece of wood or something like that, a chopstick. That'll do the job. But if they're really floating loose, then there's going to be an issue there, I think.
That's a good idea. Let's do a picture and put it on the site there. That's a good idea.
I don't think they were all that bad. It's just when I put the leads through the board, they got a little bit loosey-goosey, and I think they were okay. I think Dave said put some hot glue on them, that'll hold in place.
As the only other person that actually was there and sorry, I didn't raise my hand. I'm speaking out of turn, Peter, but yeah, I know.
I'm going to kick you out in a minute.
But I just like to weigh in because I've wound my share of toroids in the past, and it was a little bit, could have been a little bit tighter, but I think I'm kind of on Brian's side that I don't think it's going to make a material difference. But experimentation, that's, I think, the name of the game is just check to see what kind of difference. But the pictures would probably speak 1,000 words if you take some macro shots of the windings, and let's have a look, Klaus, as a group.
I'm not gonna rip anything off the board until I at least try it. They might be perfectly good.
Well, take a picture of the board as close in as you possibly can. I mean, let me just see here. I mean, I don't know how well this thing doesn't focus in too close, but if you can, I guess
back of it,
isn't it?
No, it's too grainy.
Yeah, it's too. I know these things are great from afar. Well, actually, if I use it like an earring, maybe you might see it. How's that? No. Okay. So take a picture of the board. Take the picture of the board itself, focusing in on the toroid close, and then post that, and then we'll see for sure. Okay. Any other comments, concerns? Okay. Well, thanks very much, everybody, for.
Sorry, I got one more.
Sure. Go ahead, Klaus.
HT radios. I think I'm reading the comments. I'm pretty well going to go with the Wuxon thing. I think that's about the best one. Eight. I think it's the number 8, whatever the letters are. I think that one's going to meet my best things. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go with that one. They're $180, so So I guess you can't go all that long with that unit.
Yeah, I don't know much about it other than the comments that we posted on the website on the groups between some of the Bofangs and then of course that Puxing that I had. They didn't meet the emissions, but in my case, I was only interested on the receive side of things for the particular project that I was doing. But
so this is the Wushang that I picked up in Dayton in 2011. So this is 9 years old now. It definitely passed the, as you can see, certified by the labs.
Mine failed.
And I basically just copied that and I print them out as need be now. But this thing is good. I've had no issues with it. I've gotten pretty good use out of it. Although I did discover this sticker that I put on at some point. The tone I don't think works to get into repeaters. That's about the only thing that is has been a problem with it. But no, it's that mobile, the 50-watt mobile that I have. It provided years of service. Like I said, it had dual VFOs, but one of them has finally bit the dust. But they tend to be, I think, a little bit more robustly manufactured. You pay a little bit more for the Wushang brand, but you get what you pay for with them. I don't know if their quality has changed over the years, but certainly when Dave and I bought one, his still works perfectly as far as I know. He brought it out actually on Saturday, and I was doing a little comparing and contrasting. But they just seem a little bit more solid than the Baofengs. Not a bad radio, but I've been pretty happy with it. Nothing has actually failed on it as far as I know. But like I said, I'm putting them all through the paces right now because some of them haven't had power going through them for a while. So anyway, there you go.
Yeah, I was leaning towards a TYT, but I kind of want the airband on there, so that rules out that radio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good choice.
All right. Anything else for anybody? Okay, great. Well, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Great seeing you again and hearing everybody and comments, etc. Enjoyed it. And I guess our next get together is I don't have the date in front of me. Oh, I guess it'll be you, Ken, right, for the third Wednesday?
Yep. Wednesday the 15th.
Yeah.
And then I think after that, we got another date that's scheduled. And I guess, Eric, you'll be taking that one. And then I guess we'll probably talk about scheduling some more after that. So
is there one immediately after our Wednesday one?
I suspect it'll be 2 weeks after.
Okay, I won't be around.
Well,
I'm going camping.
Where?
Same place.
You gonna take your radio this time?
I don't know. I haven't decided.
You haven't decided. Okay.
Yeah. It's only QRP. It's like 8 watts or something like that.
That's okay. You're not far away. We'll try it. Throw some up there, and I'll be listening for you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Check the club website for dates and, of course, Groups.io. And with that, cheers.
Okay. Thanks.
Good night. Night, everybody.
For the rest of your Canada Day, everybody.
Night, everybody.